The first dilemma is from Anonymous. Big fan of yours. I appreciate you. I have a tendency to keep falling down this dark hole in life. It's so hard to get back out of it. I feel as if I've barely made any progress in life and have been stuck in this hole the last 2 to 3 years. I'm disappointed in myself. I'm losing faith in myself. But I want to find happiness. I want to achieve the good things in life before I die. All the good habits such as meditating, gratitude journaling, mindset, working out, etc. have been so hard to keep consistent with. I'm just so lost in life right now, man. I so badly want to get out of this dark hole. It feels like I would very much appreciate your advice. Thank you for your videos, Jordan. Well, first of all, Anonymous, I appreciate your support. Also, happy belated birthday. It says that you recently turned 19, although that was about 6 months ago, but I digress. So, my primary takeaway from your dilemma is that you are in a rut. You're in a very, very, very deep rut, and I know exactly how you feel because I've been in your position. Okay, on my 20th birthday, I remember I had this epiphany that, quite frankly, I wasn't where I wanted to be in life. Now, a lot of that was from comparison, and that's something that I think that you should maybe consider is that you might feel behind in life because you're comparing yourself to other people. You see, at the age of 19, really, you're not supposed to have accomplished that much. Okay, at 19 years old, even if you follow the traditional path that the adults probably set forth for you, you wouldn't have gotten your degree yet. You are probably thousands of dollars in the hole if you're in college. So at 19, you're really not in a position where you can be a failure. Okay, you're not a failure at 19 years old. And the only reason why you would feel like you're a failure is because you were either led to believe that from a young age, or because you're comparing yourself to other people, or maybe a mixture of both. Me personally, when I turned 20, I felt like a failure because I was comparing myself to the top 0.000001% of people in my age range. But in retrospect, I was probably just where I needed to be at that point in my life. If anything, I might have been ahead of other people. Okay, so take some time to really analyze where you are in life, not relative to other people, but relative to where you were maybe 5 years ago at the age of 14. Now, with that being said, like I said, you're 19, you have youth on your side. You have nothing but time. Now, you're already on the right track with the implementation of those productive habits like meditation, gratitude journaling, so on and so forth. But the reason why you probably can't stay consistent with them is because you're trying to do too much at one time. Okay, a lot of times when you fall into a rut, what ends up happening is you lose that ambition, you lose that drive, you lose that fire that keeps you disciplined. Okay, discipline has to be backed or initiated by motivation. And over time, you build up enough momentum in your discipline that it creates a snowball effect where those self-care practices become habitual for you. You don't even think about doing them anymore. But clearly, you're not at that point right now. And you have to honor that and respect that. You can't compare yourself to someone like me or any of these other self-development YouTubers who have been doing this, who have dedicated their lives to this for years at a time. Okay, so start off by implementing one habit at a time. That is the first thing that you need to do. And focus on day-to-day progress. Now, something else that I would highly recommend for you, okay, and I'm saying this because I myself have done this and it's worked wonders for me, is seeking therapy. And that brings me to BetterHelp, the sponsor of today's video. Let's talk about your mental health and therapy. One of the best ways to think about therapy is through analogies. We get our car serviced to prevent bigger issues down the road, especially if you drive a BMW. We see the doctor and work out to prevent injuries and disease in our bodies. And we go to the dentist to prevent cavities. Going to therapy is just like all of the previous examples. It's routine maintenance for your mental and emotional well-being. It doesn't mean that anything is wrong with you. It just means that you're investing in yourself to keep your mind healthy. BetterHelp is customized online therapy that offers video, phone, and even live chat sessions with your therapist, so that you don't ever have to see anyone on camera if you don't want to. You just fill out a questionnaire to help assess your specific needs, and then you get matched with the therapist in under 48 hours. Then, you schedule secure video and phone sessions, plus you can exchange unlimited messages and everything you share is completely confidential. I know that one of the most empowering insights that my therapist, Janice, has shared with me is that we all have relationships with other people, but we also have the relationship with ourselves. And it seems like in your case, you have been neglecting your relationship with yourself. You can request a new therapist at any time for no additional charge. So many people are using BetterHelp that they're currently recruiting new therapists in all 50 states. So be sure to click the link in the description or the pinned comment, or go to betterhelp.com/Jordan Green. That's betterhelp.com/Jordan Green, and join the over 2 million people, including myself, who are taking charge of their mental health by seeking professional therapy. Now, in addition to therapy, and therapy will help you with this, but aside from that, put things into perspective. Okay, like I said, the chances are you're comparing yourself to other people, and that's why you feel behind. That's why you feel like you're not doing enough in your life, and that's why you feel like you aren't enough in your life. You feel like you're inadequate because you feel like you're behind because you're comparing yourself to other people. You have to put things into perspective and not only see that you are exactly where you need to be right now, but understand that if this is your rock bottom, if this is the worst that things will get for you, you have no other direction to go except for up. You have nowhere else to go but up. All you can do at this point is improve. Okay, so you starting where you are is actually a blessing because you have the world ahead of you. Okay, especially at the age of 19, you have nothing but unfulfilled potential that's lying dormant within you. And I see within your message the desire to fulfill that potential. But like I said, it starts with putting things into perspective and making the process digestible and sustainable for you. Okay, being able to do one new habit a month and having that big picture mentality that, hey, I might not transform my life overnight, but if I implement one new habit per month, including therapy, and I do that for a year, at the end of that year, I'm going to be a completely different person. And I'll still only be 20 years old. Okay, which for me personally, 20 years old is around the time that I started to put things together myself. So at 21 or 22, okay, I'm 22 right now, you could be ahead of where I am. And like I said, you shouldn't compare yourself to me, but I'm saying that in the sense that you can accomplish a lot of great things in life if you take things slow. Okay, one of the most classic fables that we're taught, at least in America as children, is the tortoise and the hare. Okay, if you were raised in America, you know exactly what I'm talking about. The tortoise and the hare. We all heard that story in kindergarten and preschool, and there is a lot of truth to that story. Okay, being able to pace yourself and maintain a sustainable rate of improvement and growth on this self-development journey is going to be the key to turning it into a lifestyle like I have, and potentially even making a living off of it like I have, if that's something that you want to do. But it starts with putting things into perspective and seeking the help that you know you need. The next dilemma is from Ajin. I didn't say that right, but I appreciate you for sending in your dilemma. Any tips to improve my self-love? Down bad lately. I just quit chewing tobacco, and I'm hoping for the best in the future. And not to forget all those girls messing with my feelings. Okay, there's a lot going on there, and yet you didn't really provide that much information. I'm not saying that to put you down or anything, but I don't really have much to work with here. So I'm just going to kind of expand on what I said in the last dilemma. Okay, as far as improving your self-love, it starts with putting things into perspective. Understanding that, for one, you are 16 years old. You're 16 years old. You say that you just quit chewing tobacco, which that right there is reason to improve your confidence in its own right. Because overcoming a destructive habit like that, that is indicative of you fulfilling the promises that you've made to yourself. Because in order to quit a negative and destructive habit, you have to make a promise to yourself that you're going to treat yourself better than the way you've been treating yourself in the past. And it seems to me like you've been able to do that effectively. I don't know if you're still struggling with that because this was from January, but at least at that time, you proved that you were capable of at least taking the initiative to improve your life. And that's something you need to give yourself credit for, especially at the age of 16. Now, as far as girls messing with your feelings, yes, okay, a lot of times that's going to be the byproduct of a lack of self-love. Because if you love yourself, for one, you'll have enough self-awareness to know the way that you need to be loved by people, but also you'll be able to recognize red flags very, very quickly, and you'll be able to act accordingly, i.e., leaving those girls alone. Okay, if somebody is messing with your feelings or playing games with you or anything like that, you got to leave them alone. Now, obviously, you're 16 years old. That's much more frequent at that age. Okay, it's much more common for people to want to play games because people at 16 aren't ready for commitment like that. But if you're ready for commitment, if that's the type of love that you want, I can guarantee you that there is somebody else out there that is as well. Okay, so It's all about loving yourself enough to not entertain company that is detrimental to your relationship with yourself. It starts with loving who you are right now, giving yourself credit for all of the amazing things that you've done, but on an even deeper level, realizing that if you weren't worthy of existing, you wouldn't be here. You would not exist. You wouldn't have woken up this morning. And you especially wouldn't have felt the impulse to send in your dilemma to receive advice so that you could improve your life. At a deep level, you already love yourself. If you didn't love yourself, you would have never sent in this dilemma. You would have never taken the initiative to quit chewing tobacco. Okay, so understand that you are way ahead of where you think you are. Just like with the previous dilemma with Anonymous. Okay, you are way ahead of where you think you are, especially for your age. So give yourself credit for that. Acknowledge the love that's already there instead of trying to acquire the love that's not. Because all the love that you'll ever need is already inside of you. It's just waiting for you to acknowledge it, and that acknowledgement will enable it to expand.